I'm the snap man.
Stanley Cup Finals Game 1, bud. NHL Puck Props presented by Sports Interaction, 14-year NHL vet Carlo Colaiacovo. Download the Sports Interaction app. Got you covered for all these bets. Coming live from beautiful Albania, bud.
Yes.
When the Stanley Cup Finals comes, I head out to the
Albania.
Adriatic Sea.
Yes, you look like you've turned Albanian. You got a new glow to you. You got the buttons undone.
You should see my pants game right now out here in Europe. Just white linens with buttons down, three buttons. It might be 4 buttons by the end of the night. But how you doing?
Leaf jerseys on your beach setting, whatever the beach umbrella that you got. It's awesome.
Albania is a beautiful place. It's 30 degrees all day. It's been a great stop. Where are you on the break? I mean, it's not as big as a break as it was last year going into the Stanley Cup Finals with the exact same 2 teams.
Yeah.
Do you think any team has an advantage with the rest?
Well, I know that Florida is a really banged up hockey team. With Reinhart dealing with something, with Tkachuk dealing with something, some of their defensemen dealing with some stuff. Rodriguez, you wonder how healthy he is. And so the break can do nothing but help, right? But for a team like Florida that plays with the relentless type of style that they play with, it almost feels like this is a game that hurts. This is a break that hurts them more than it would the Edmonton Oilers, because when you invest in playing that way, you kind of want to keep the momentum going and play in a rhythm where you're playing every other day, or you get maybe an extra day off between games. But to have this almost 1 week break between the Stanley Cup Finals, like look what it did to Florida in their first go around in the Stanley Cup Finals, where they had a 9-day break before they started against the Vegas Golden Knights, and they were playing catch up all series. So I think
what did they do last year in Game 1 with the break, though?
Yeah, but the break wasn't anywhere near as long as it was this one, is it?
No, the last break was the full week. They had to take the full week off last year, right? Remember that giant break? Yes, it was a long break because the season didn't end until like almost July, right?
Well, the reason why this series is going to feel like it's so long, especially if it goes to 7 games again, is because of the travel. I think there's what? I mean, obviously a 3-hour time change between, is it 3 hours or 2 hours? I think it's 2-hour time change, but the 6-hour flight between both places, you kind of need that full day to travel to get your body feeling 100%. And when you're playing on this stage, you want everybody to feel great. So yeah, it seems like the series is dragged on because of the way they spaced out games, but you kind of have to expect it when 2 teams play this far apart from each other. And we saw it last year when it went to Game 7. It felt like that series was 3 weeks long.
Oh, so long. All of a sudden the draft is like right after the NHL Finals.
And I think too, like measuring this series versus last year, I think Edmonton has a huge advantage, because I've talked about this with you before, where the Edmonton home ice advantage actually feels like a massive home ice advantage versus anything else we've seen this playoffs. So them starting at home versus what they did last year, starting on the road and then having to come back from a 3-0 deficit to force Game 7, you kind of feel that took a lot out of Edmonton. Once they got to Game 7, they're kind of run out of gas. I think starting at home.
Isn't the opposite true? Like Florida's just absolutely gauntleted his way through every road matchup. Minus 160 first round, minus 180 second round, minus 125 third round.
I'm just trying to find an advantage for Edmonton here, right? Versus, they could maybe get a split in the first 2 games. Maybe they can go up 2-0 and use the home ice advantage, and it would put them in a different spot than they were last year.
Do you think Edmonton deserves to be a minus 130 favorite in this game?
Yes, because of home ice advantage.
Okay. So home ice advantage is saying that on neutral ice, Florida would be like a slight 10-point favorite.
Probably. Yeah. Probably. I mean, when you really look at it, yes, Florida, this is their third straight finals. Yes, they have the DNA of being a Stanley Cup champion. But when you really look at these rosters, they're not much different than each other. I mean, yes, Bobrovsky is hands down better statistically than Stuart Skinner, but Stuart Skinner is playing at the top of his game right now. If you're getting Stuart Skinner at the top of his game, I think he can match up well with Bobrovsky. You look at Bouchard versus any other of the offensive defensemen. Who's considered an offensive defenseman in Florida?
Gustav Forsling. Incredible skater.
Yeah, but they can produce offense, but not at the same pace that you would think Evan Bouchard can produce at.
Does Bouchard create that if he's not playing 5-on-4 without 29 and 97 though?
But that's a difference though. Like
it is.
You know, like it is a difference. And then, like you look at their top two lines, like Hyman hurts not having him in Edmonton.
Evander Kane, Leon Draisaitl, and Kasperi Kapanen. Bro, come on. Okay, third line of Puck, Colson, Janmark, and Arvidsson.
Yeah, versus Lundell, Marchand, and is Lucic even available?
That's it. And that check right? He took he ran into the boards.
Yeah. So
they can fill that third spot in no problem.
I mean, the thing is that a team with 97 and 29, you're always going to keep yourself in it.
100%. And that's why the books are always so heavy on Edmonton. They love Carolina. They love Florida. But guess what? The books love Edmonton more than anybody else in hockey. And a lot of that has to do with 97 and 29. So let's get to some plays here. Florida money line for me. Let's go plus 110. Out of the gate, we're going to go, whoa, producer Mick, plus 1,100. I'll take that. I'll take that. Producer Mick is on island time.
Yeah, you always like finding those mistakes, right?
Whoops, yeah, and you lost your account. Panthers money line plus 110. Corey Perry point. Let's get that one up there too, plus 110. Let's go. Evan Rodriguez point. My absolute man. Riding the rod, plus 115. Right. Producer Mick told me to say that. And we go Kasperi Kapanen. Last goal, 35
again.
Why not? Like, I'm back on. Like, how bad would you feel like if you hit it again, you didn't run it back?
Yeah, no kidding.
You have to run it back. So
especially Florida, when you're in Albania.
I need a big ticket. I need a big ticket game in this. But the Rodriguez situation and the Perry situation are very similar, right? Because of injuries. They're playing like Rodriguez has played 18 minutes a game and he's at that plus money. I think he could lead Florida in points. He's plus 210 to get 5 or more points in the series, which is, I think, one of the best bargains you can buy. And Barkov's going to have a big series. And Reinhardt's kind of healthy, but he's playing. So that's where he's playing, and he's playing PP1. Great spot. We saw what Perry can do when he's elevated. Great fourth-line player, but hey, play in front of the net with your stick on the ice, and 97 can just throw the puck at you. That's all you need.
But the thing is that, like, it sounds easy to do, but not many guys can do it as good as Corey Perry does and Zach Hyman.
So,
right?
Is Corey Perry a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Yes. That first ballot?
Depends who he's up against. But yes. I mean, just look at the resume. I mean, he's going to his, sixth cup final?
Six, yeah.
Like, I mean, he's won a Stanley Cup. He's won an NHL MVP. Like, what else does a guy need in his resume? And he's playing in his 40s. Still contributing.
But there's spots like Rodriguez 2 points. Like, I think there's really good pricing on all of them, especially Perry. Same spot to get first line guys playing PP1. We talk about it every time. It's literally the easiest thing to find, and you want to bet on if you're getting it at minus 140 or better. I feel
yeah, 100%. And just like Rodriguez is one of those guys too that he scored the other night in Carolina. And they were talking on the broadcast how, like, that goal could get him going now, right?
Because he was an assist machine going into that one. He had 6 assists, yeah. Tied for the team lead in round 3.
Yeah, and I think, with the injuries or just whatever those other guys that I talked about are dealing with, Like, he's a guy that's, I mean, Florida's got to this point, not because of guys like Kachuk and Barkov and Reinhart leading the way. They've gotten to this
Rodriguez.
point by their middle six guys, and Rodriguez is one of those guys.
Boom, producer Mick. Thank you very much. Cleaning that up. Do you think the longer the series goes, the more advantage Florida has, not just because of how physical they play, but because it exposes that lack of depth? And I feel like I've been repeating the same thing and been proven wrong 3 times in a row.
Lack of depth for who? For Edmonton?
Edmonton.
I know, but we really want to go down.
I know.
They're in the Stanley Cup Final. Look at the teams that they beat to get here.
I know,
man.
but I'm still looking at Evander Kane and Kapanen.
I know, but they're finding a way, man. They're finding a way. They're not here by fluke. They beat LA after being down 2-0 in that series. They beat Vegas. They beat Dallas, all teams that were Stanley Cup contenders.
I know.
And they did it pretty. I owe them an apology too. We're on the same boat with those guys.
So is that the difference? So, like, because you have maybe the 2 best players left in the playoffs, that they can make up for all those mistakes, or not the mistakes, but like the lack of that.
Probably, or maybe we've built this image of Edmonton based on how they played in the regular season. They probably just were bored of the regular season because they lost in Game 7. They're like,
You were saying that out of the break. I remember you saying that, like, out of the 4 Nations break. I don't think they're that invested right now. They're just going to kind of coast. And I'm like, I don't think they're the Panthers of this year, but they kind of know how to play.
Hey, Matthew Tkachuk knew that they were.
It's big Stuart Skinner game. Like, if over 0.5, over 1.5 goalie started in Edmonton, what do you think? If that's the line, are you under or over on that line?
Yeah, that's a. I mean,
at a coin flip at minus 110.
So starting or playing?
Starting. Oh, okay. No, I'll go minus 110 in the game, not start.
Yeah, I'm going to say
starts
yes.
Probably like plus 250.
Yes, I'm going to say yes. I mean, Florida can blow you out of the rink.
Yeah, and send your fans home packing early.
Yeah. So I'll say yes.
All right, biggest thing before we head out here. Biggest thing that Florida's what is Florida's edge? Like, looking at a betting angle, what is Florida's edge in the series? I'm not going to say the word X factor, but what does Florida have that Edmonton doesn't? And if they use it, they can win the series.
They have that moxie, right? They know how to win at this time of year. They don't panic. They didn't panic against the Leafs, even down 2-0. They didn't panic down 2-0 and 3-1 in Game 3 against the Leafs, and they marched their way back into the series. I think that's what Florida's going to lean on. They trust themselves, knowing that they can play any game. And, they've been good on the road. They've got to be good on the road in this series because they don't have home ice advantage. And I think that's what Florida's going to lean on. And I think for Edmonton, I think what they can learn from is understanding that they don't have to go through all the new feelings of what it's like to play in the Stanley Cup like they did last year. They've been there. They've done that. They experienced the worst feeling of it. Now I think they're motivated to try to change that.
They don't have to get yelled at. They're scared to get yelled at by McDavid again. That's for sure.
Dig in.
Yeah, dig in. And on the other side, what does Edmonton have that Florida doesn't have? And if they exploit that they can win?
Home ice advantage, man. I'm going to ask you this question because I've been asking everybody about this, and everyone's like, oh, home ice doesn't mean that much. If this game goes to a Game 7, because it feels like that's what it's going to take to beat Florida. Like, Florida hasn't lost in anything less than 7 games. They haven't even lost in the last 3 years. They've been to 3 straight Cup Finals. If you give me a Game 7, winner take all, in Edmonton, on Edmonton ice, who are you taking in that game?
Florida. I think in a Game 7, I think another advantage that Edmonton has, and Florida has, to their credit, has absolutely stifled some good power plays.
No.
Game 7, you're not going to see a lot of penalties. Game 7, the Stanley Cup Finals, you're not going to see a lot of penalties.
You didn't last year in the finals.
Exactly, and I think that is a disadvantage for Edmonton,
yeah.
That's the only angle I'd look at that. I think if I can get it at the same price, but if this goes to Game 7, Edmonton does win convincingly at home, Game 7, I think, would be even shorter than we're seeing right now. Like you might see Edmonton minus 135 because, like you said, it's one of the best barns in hockey right now. And it's playoff hockey. Like, where are you on? I want to see a Canadian team win the cup.
Yeah, I'm high on that, man. I mean, we have 7 Canadian teams. We have a fourth of the teams in the league. Be nice to see somebody win it. I think.
Would you rather see a Canadian team win it or Connor McDavid win his first
I was
cup?
just going to say that. I said, to me, it's more about watching the best player in the world
100%.
win versus where they play. I mean, I have certain opinions on certain players on that Edmonton team that wouldn't necessarily favor me in wanting to see them win the cup. But, you know, I cheer for players and I do teams. And clearly Connor McDavid's a fun player to cheer for. And I want to see him. Like, I would hate to see Connor McDavid go to back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals and lose in both.
Yes.
That would be crushing.
That'd be bad for hockey for sure, I think too.
Yeah.
But we'll get to see the best player, the best skater playing at his highest level. And you don't get to see that very often. And he's got a second chance. So that's a really cool thing to watch this year. And if you've watched the playoffs, nobody gets up to speed in the playoffs except Connor McDavid. It's maybe Nathan McKinnon. But those are the only 2 guys who you actually see get to full speed in a playoff game because there's just not space and time.
I agree.
Let's go. Wednesday. We're recording this your time. I'm 6 hours ahead. I don't even know if I'll
It doesn't matter.
I'll be able to watch the game. I think it's on at 3 o'clock.
Oh, you're going to stay up. You're going to set an alarm. You're going to
I have to leave that Thursday morning at 6 o'clock. Yeah, that's a long one. But hey, Barry point, Rodriguez point, Panthers money line for me. And that last goal on the other side with Kapanen plus 3,500. One more. Let's go 0.25 units on that. We're not going full unit. I know. A little something if my Florida money line isn't going well. Enjoy game 1, pal. Thanks for jumping on. Good luck with the RBC this week.
Enjoy Albania.
I'll do my best. It's difficult to hang out by the pool, but I'll tell you that. All right. NHL Prop Picks presented by Sports Interaction. Has you covered for all these picks. Download the app. Covers. Carlo Colaiacovo, lead us out, pal.
Have a great and safe vacation. I'll see you when you get back. Let's go Oilers.